Hey, welcome to FreightWaves NOW, Monday edition style. If you hear some talking in the background, that should be normal. We've got a lot going on here each and every day, and we're bringing it to you live each and every day at 4 o'clock Eastern time until told otherwise. Today, we have got, whether or not you like good weather or bad weather, we have got weather being reported all over the United States of America from none other than Chief Meteorologist Nick Austin. He is starring on one segment of our show, and on the other segment, it is the Sultan of Sonar, Zach Strickland, bringing us the Monday Blues, or is it good news? Well, stay tuned and find out. Let's begin right now with Chief Meteorologist. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good, Chad.
Great.
And how are you?
Lovely. Thank you. Just doing outstanding. It's beautiful here. What could go wrong?
Not a bad day right here at our headquarters in Chattanooga, but there's a lot going on in other parts of the country, including snow. Even though it is in the middle of springtime, that doesn't matter out in the Rockies necessarily. So
Winter's not letting go easily, is it?
It's not letting go. But there is going to be heavy snow, especially later today and on through the nighttime. So over a lot of the mountain passes through the Colorado Rockies, up into Wyoming, southwestern Montana, up in those areas, the highest elevations in some of those mountain passes could see 10 to 20 inches of snow from this storm that's going to last at least through the nighttime, and there'll be some gusty winds here and there. So
keep those ski communities open.
Absolutely. I mean, the ski season is, it goes in, really, I think could extend into May for a lot of areas in any given year up there. So, but that is going to be a problem for some of the roads up there. And we could see severe thunderstorms popping up across parts of Texas, Oklahoma today. And as a matter of fact, it'll be a pretty stormy week overall across the Great Plains, Chad, because not only today, but Tuesday and Wednesday, a lot of those same areas could see severe storms. And we're talking about the possibility of some tornadoes, a lot of damaging winds, and possibly large hail. So that's going to be across northern Texas and Oklahoma.
What about the green blob going through the Midwest here?
That's fairly harmless.
Oh, really?
Most of that is just going to be heavy rain, which again could slow drivers down and it can cause delays. But we're not going to see too much stormy weather in the Midwest. Maybe in some parts of Ohio, over towards Pittsburgh, there could be some severe storms, but they'll be very isolated. Okay. So not a big problem for the Midwest. So that's the good part. We're mostly focusing on the plains and the Rockies. That's where all the real active weather is going to be today. So just be careful out there. Watch out for that snow. Watch out for that wind.
Okay. Right. Thanks for the update, Nick.
You bet, Chad.
Great to see you again. And now bringing us the Monday news, Zach Strickland. Is it the blues or the news? What's up, dude?
Let's go with news. Let's go with news today.
Just news. Feeling kind of neutral?
I think I feel all right. I don't feel great. I don't feel bad.
What is it? Does it have anything to do with the freight conditions out there?
A little bit.
Oh.
So we've got the outbound tender volume index pulled up this week, looking at about a 3-month chart here with tender rejections overlaid on top of that. You can see that they go in a little different direction here, but the thing I wanted to point out is look at this big March. We got a pretty good, solid, decent-sized March.
We
averaged roughly 1% to 2% lower in March versus this time last year. April, we calmed down quite a bit, and actually we've been averaging about 4-ish% in the early part of April versus down versus last year.
Was all of that Easter?
This right here, this is Easter. Yeah. This is Good Friday. Okay. There's a lot of shippers shutting down for the week, or not the week, but for the weekend. So the volumes were just muted quite a bit. It's interesting to see that last year at this time, or last year Easter was right in here in the first part of April. So it compounded the impact of the quarter end, month end impact, where we see this big push before the holiday and it comes down afterwards. So we've recovered out of the Easter slump, if you will. Things are back to about, okay, we're only, I think, about 0.4% year over year down versus this time last year. So everybody thought 2018, big freight year. We're only right now sitting about 0.4% underneath where we are last year.
That's crazy, yeah. Volume-wise.
But the thing that everybody gets confused about, capacity is a lot more available this year. And again, it's totally different freight market this year. There's a lot more activity on the West Coast versus the East Coast, et cetera, et cetera. We've said that enough. But tender rejections have taken a slight pause right here. You can see on this line that's kind of holding that off a little bit, but we've taken a little pause this week as tender rejections have flattened out, slightly increased day over day over the last little bit.
So one of the things that I think, as we're staying stable on freight rates, I'm surprised that seasonality has been so long in maturing and coming of age this season. I'm not sure what's going on with produce from Mexico through Phoenix, out in California. Like what is happening? Why is it so slow?
Well, it's just because anytime that you have a very volatile market, there's a lot more energy in that market last year, so it was a lot more volatile. So it's going to exaggerate the swings up and down. So right now what we're looking at in the produce season, a lot of the produce is coming out of California right now. We've already seen the spot rates come up in Fresno, Los Angeles, coming to the East Coast. But it's still way down. It's 17% down year over year. So it's just not as exaggerated as it was in the past.
I see. Well, you know what? Tomorrow, when we have Donnie Gilbert on, we will find out where Donnie was right and where Donnie was wrong, and he will give us a microcosm of these markets, I'm sure, and let us know what's happening there.
Right on.
What other big stories do we have
So
today?
we have this big carrier shutdown in the Youngstown, Ohio area. So I've got the chart pulled up for automotive production for Cleveland, Ohio right now. And what this is going to measure is we just had a Chevy plant close, the Cruze. They manufacture the Cruze out of the Lordstown plant, just north.
Sedans are going by the wayside.
No, everybody's making different cars. They want the big SUVs, the trucks. They're not wanting the sedans.
People want the
as you
command seating position.
So back several months ago, GM announced the closing of the plant in Lordstown, Ohio. This has had a slow trickle-down effect. This Falcon Transport out of Youngstown, Ohio, just north of Youngstown, Ohio, shut down. It had about 400 drivers, company drivers, with 80 owner-operators. And they basically just sent out an email on Saturday saying, you're no longer working. Like,
I think 585 drivers.
Yeah, total employees.
Okay,
580
total
employees, but 480 drivers, 80 of those being owner-operators.
And they were told to what?
They were told, don't come back to work. You're done.
So they were told to cease
and
their
desist.
operation.
They said they're no longer there.
So if you're a trucker and you're on the road and you're driving and you receive this email or communication, do you literally just stop and get a ride somewhere else? I mean, or do you deliver the truck, or what do you do? Like, do they literally mean stop now?
No, I mean, they could go and finish their route. They could make their delivery if they wanted to, expecting to get paid, maybe. They don't know if they're going to get paid or not. That's the big problem, is these guys literally could just get out of their truck, park it on the side of the road, get a cab, and head home. I mean, there's no real good answer there.
Because it doesn't sound like they're guaranteed that they're going to be paid if they're told to cease immediately.
Yeah, no, that's basically it. They're basically saying your next paycheck is not guaranteed. They're probably going to do some liquidation, so after everybody else gets paid, the creditors and whatnot, then they might go in.
It seems very irresponsible to me. I mean, so far Falcon's only confirmed that indeed they did send this communication out, but they've given no further details.
No, and they're not required to, and they have to be careful about that as well. So there's legal concerns here, and it's just the state of the world. But the point I was trying to make here is they were heavily tied to the automotive industry. The GM was one of their biggest customers.
That's right.
Ford was also a customer of theirs, but they specialized in these OEM product lines. So they would source a lot of the steel, put it on the flatbed, but they also had a lot of over the road. They had actually just opened a facility in Texas, Cedar Point, Texas, 2 months ago. So they were bought out by a private equity company, and essentially that decision comes down to the private equity company saying, we're not going to be, this isn't going to work.
It was a leveraged buyout.
It was a leveraged buyout in 2017. So 2 years later, they're done. And this private equity company actually specialized in turnarounds and mid, $10 to $200 million revenue companies.
But they were seeing some alarm bells with Falcon.
Well,
and you're connecting some of the dots as to why right here.
Yeah, no, the Chevy Cruze, they were tied to the GM production because they started in 1903, essentially with horse and cart. So when this plant shut down, a lot of their freight was just not available anymore.
Yeah. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. But the good news is, if we go to the next chart, the good news is that Cleveland market is actually pretty strong right now. This is the outbound tender volume index over the head haul index. So both of these numbers are very positive. So all these drivers that maybe were domiciled in this area, they're gonna have, this market right here is coming up. It's getting a lot better. I mean, you're looking at levels as high as they were back towards the summer here out of Cleveland right now.
So you've got the tender volume cross compared with haul, head haul, the positive. Okay, it's looking really good
so
there.
Head haul is a 43.37 value right now, which is very strong. That means there's a lot more freight coming out than going in. Very good for carriers.
Which contrasts with, so the plant's closed, but there's obviously volumes coming from somewhere.
Somewhere in the
this
Cleveland market area, which encompasses a big part of northern Ohio, which a lot of freight originates there.
There's a lot of manufacturing's very positive right now.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, even though the one dies, another one will rise up to take its place, and that's what we're seeing with these volumes in freight right now. So a lot of these drivers got a lot of offers overnight once it was released. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Hope springs eternal.
There we go.
Zach Strickland, not bringing us the Monday blues, bringing us the Monday news. And there's bad news in there, but there is obviously a sign of optimism. We have no idea what in the world is going on. I mean, we kind of have an idea, but Falcon Transport just shutting it down like that is shocking. But like for the drivers, if you're tuning in, you're checking out this original sourcing, we've got some good news for you. If you are in that general area, opportunity abounds for you. And opportunity abounds for everyone in freight and tech for us as we head into Transparency 19 and 1 week from today. We would love to see you there. That's right, 165 hours we are starting, give or take an hour. So we would love to see you there. And also, would you subscribe? We'd love to share the love with you and have you be a part of the Cool Kids Club. Yes, that's what we're saying. We're just saying we're in the Cool Kids Club right now, and we would love to have you be a part. Everyone's doing it. All right, so tune in with us, share the love on social media, and if you'd like a demo on Sonar, you could get that at Transparency 18, but if you don't have time to do that, 19, but if you don't have time to do that, just go to the Sonar page on our FreightWaves page, and we will get you a demo, we'll get you in for a queue. All right, so in the meantime, don't worry, be happy.